Konnichiwa and welcome to the 16th round of the GP4 Offline Championship. I am George Oak and we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka International Circuit. So first of all, let's go through the Singapore race rating and the drive of the day. So the race rating was given a 5.62 out of 10. I think that's a fair rating considering not much happened in the race. And the Singapore drive of the day was given as a tie to both Waze Kuba and Felix Sonntag, who both got the same amount of votes. And team news for this weekend's race is that Toro Rosso have confirmed they will keep both Amar Carr and Robert Ionescu, probably not too surprisingly, at their team next season. So we're here at the Japanese Grand Prix, a circuit known where the weather can be wet, or can either be very wet or very dry. The Suzuka circuit known for infamous corners like the 130R, the chicane, the S-curves, the Degner curve, a lot of interesting corners, which hopefully should provide a really good race here today. And obviously we have the spoon curve as well. But let's just hope that this race is better than the last one at Singapore. So the grid here, we have Volker on the front row alongside Miklos Gal. First Volker, second Gal. Third is Waze Kuba. Fourth is Brunella. Fifth is Joseph Willows. Sixth is Evan Burns. Seventh is Alex Southgate. Eighth is James Willows. And as we go on to the fifth row of the grid, is the other Renault of Jamie Kensey, followed by Robert Ionescu. A good qualifying from him in 10th place, remaining, whose seat was known to be doubtful for next season, considering the form that he's been in this season, which has not been that good. But he's still stayed at Toro Rosso. And as we go on to the sixth row of the grid, we have Felix Sonntag and Ronan Moisen both staying at their respective teams. George Oak in 13th. We don't really know where he's going yet. He's a free agent, as he's not going to Force India, not going to Toro Rosso where he's rumoured, so I'm not sure where he could be going yet. 14th place is Viggo Holst with Finley Strachan in 15th. Amar Carr 16th with Sam Thompson in 17th. Michael Mocho rumoured to be possibly moving up teams, considering as he's scored a number of points this season. He scored a 6th place in China and also an 8th place finish. On the 10th row of the grid is Killian Bryce and John Maturin. And at the back row of the grid have poor qualifying from Alan Wolf. And of course we have Roman Quag on the last row of the grid. So that is the grid. So let's go and have a look to see what the weather will be like for this race. And as we go and have a look, the answer is, and you can see it's going to be a very, very wet race. It's going to be heavy rain throughout the whole Grand Prix. It's going to be monsoon conditions here in Japan. So this could make for a very, very interesting race. It could spice up the order possibly. We will have to see as we are about to go onto the grid for the race. And here we are. So we are on the grid. So Volker on pole, Gal on second, Kuba third. And it should be also noted as the lights come on that Volker can win the championship in this race. So the answer is, will he get a good start away from the line? And the lights are out and away we go. And is Volker going to get a good start away from Gal in second place, his title rival? And the answer is yes, he does. So it looks like Volker's got the lead. Who's going to get second? Is it going to be Nella going on the inside, coming into turn one, heading into the S curves? And Volker's got the lead. Nella has got second ahead of Gal. Not the start that Gal would have wanted at all, as the rain pours down as the cars come through the S curves for the first time. And at the moment, Volker leads the Grand Prix. Comfortable lead for him at the moment as he comes through the second part of the S-curves, right, left, as he now heads to the end of the S-curve, heading towards Degner, and he comes through, and he currently leads at the moment, as Will Nella is right behind him. As we look through the order, there's James Willows in 8th place, as Southgate's moved up to 6th. He's got past Evan Bird in front of him, and Nella's taking the lead! Nella's taking the lead of the Grand Prix! Nella has got in front of Florian Volker. That could be interesting as well for the championship. Nella, who I think is probably just about out the championships at the moment, but he has taken the lead. So how has he done that? So he was right behind Volker coming out of the S-curves as they headed up to Degner. Volker just seemed to suddenly back off there right in front of Nella. Nella said thanks very much and took the first place. That's a great start for Nella, exactly what he wanted and needed. He will want to end the season on a high, as he obviously will leave the GP4 Offline Championship, and as he is currently in the IndyCar series at the moment, but he will leave the GP4 Offline Championship. A sad day for the whole series. But anyway, he will want to make the end of his final season the best he can do, as he comes through the spoon curve for the first time, as Gal is already under pressure from Joseph Willows behind his teammate as well. So not a good start from Gal. He's dropped further down the order. He's dropped to 4th now. Well, he's dropped to 3rd, but he's got Joseph Willows right behind him, and Waze Kuba could take advantage if he's not careful. As here comes Miklos Gal trying to keep third place from Joseph Willows, and Joseph Willows does stay behind Gal. He can't get past, as here is Alex Southgate as we come into the Dunlop chicane. And it looks like so far actually everyone has managed to avoid contact so far in this race, as Nella comes through the final corner on to the pit straight, and he leads the first lap of the Grand Prix, as Volker at the moment still is in a good position at the moment to win the championship, as he's got away from Gal in third, Willows in fourth, Kuber in fifth, and Alex Southgate in sixth place, as Nella is about to head through the S-curves for the second time. As we skip on to lap 3, as here is a battle between Alex Southgate and Waze Kuber for 5th place. And Southgate going to go around the outside of 130R. He's on the right-hand side, coming into the Dunlop chicane, but unfortunately he has to back off. And now James Willis behind is going to have a chance to overtake as they come through the Dunlop chicane for the first time, as Kuber is trying to close up onto the back of Joseph Willows, as James Willows, his brother, is trying to attack Alex Southgate behind as they come down the pit straight. On lap 4 so far, the rain showing no sign of relenting at the moment, as here on board Moichin, who's just come out the pits, so he's quite early on to go into the pits. So has he had a problem? The answer is yes, he has. He's had a throttle problem, so a throttle problem there for Rela Moichin, as he's had to unfortunately come into the pits on lap 4, so not a good start for him. It's not really been that much of a good season at all for Force India, mainly for George Roke, who's had probably the worst season, or he has had the worst season in his GP4 career. But Moichin comes into the pits plus a 29.9 gallons of fuel. So here's Alan Wolf, who's trying to go past. It looks like this is Amar Khan, I think, and it's very, very close there. Wolf has to back off to avoid any contact as they come through the hairpin, as they head towards the spoon curve. And Wolf is now going to make a move on Amar Khan coming the spoon curve. And does he make the move stick? The answer is yes, he does. And he moves up to 14th place. You can see Kuber has got past Joseph Willows down below. As you can see, he has got past Joseph Willows, and now he's right behind Mikhail Gal coming down the pit straight. So is he going to make a move on Gal coming into turn 1? Kuber's got the slipstream, he's got a face full of spray, and he will want to take that visor off immediately because it will be full of raindrops and the McLaren engine. As here comes Kuber on the inside of Gal coming into the first corner. And is he going to make the stick Kuber? It looks like, has he done it? And yes, he has, as there's a yellow flag out, and that's Amar Khan, who's spun at the Dunlop chicane, and that's a disaster for him. Not had a good race so far on my car. It's not really got any better as he's trying to rejoin the track, as he does indeed rejoin, although he's taking it very slowly. He's taken a very long route trying to get past his head to let a couple of other cars through. So I think that's George Roke. It's just gone past him, and he does make it through. So let's see what happened to Carl. Was it a contact or was it a mistake? It looks like it was a mistake, and yes, it was. He's outbrakes and he goes onto the grass and just loses it completely. You really have to avoid the grass, especially in these conditions. It's like well, it's just got so many puddles there. There's just literally no grip at all, especially if you're on the curves. Try not to wheel spin on the curves, otherwise you'll just spin around immediately, especially with the power in these cars. Joseph Willis is trying to get past. Oh, and there's a car off, and that's James Willis, and he's lost his front wing. And he was trying to go around the outside of his brother there, and it's not worked out at all well for James Willows, and he has lost part of his front wing. So he was right behind Joe, who was right behind Gal, and he tried to go around the outside, but I don't think that was really ever going to work. And you can see he goes wide onto the gravel, and where goes his front wing? There it goes. There goes his front wing. How horrendous was that? Not good for James Willows. That's a bad mistake there, and he needs a good result here. Otherwise, Volker will win the championship. Willows is Volker's main rival. I was saying Gal was, but Gal is Volker's second biggest rival of the season. But James Willows has lost his front wing. Not a good start for him in the slightest. We've got another yellow flag, and oh, Robert Ionescu now. Both Toro Rosso drivers have spun off. Not a good race for them so far. We've only been 6 laps. So Robert Ionescu loses control of his car coming into the Degner curve, as he has to let a couple of cars go past. He has to let Robert Moyton go past as he rejoins back in 17th place. So what happened to Ionescu? Was there contact, or did he go off by himself? It looks like he went off by himself, was it? And I believe it was, unless he had a car behind him, and well, it might have been pressure from Sam Thompson that forced him to go off there, but it doesn't look like there was any contact as they rejoin us. Alright, Southgate. Oh, Miklos Gal and Alex Southgate. They collided, it looks like, because they've both lost their front wheels, and Alex Southgate and Miklos Gal out the race. That could put an end to Miklos Gal's title hopes with this retirement. How unlucky was that? So what happened there? We will have to see. But dramatic scenes here at Suzuka as Miklos Gau is out of this race. That is exactly what Volker needs and probably what James Williams needs as well. And it does look like there was a collision between the two. So here we're on board with Southgate, who is in 6th place, and Gal, who's out in front. Also, Gal had gone off coming into the spoon curve, and he just come on right into the path of Alex Southgate. Poor driving once again from Gal, who unfortunately caused that big pile-up at Spa a few races ago. And that unfortunately will raise a few eyebrows in the paddock. So we will find out at the end of the race if he'll get a penalty for that. He probably will, because that was poor, just him rejoining right in front of a driver like that. I mean, I would not just Southgate there, but that was, as I said, not very good driving at all there. As here we are on board with Armar Carr, who is running in 19th place. He's coming into spoon where the yellow flags of Gal and that are. Oh, and he's lost it. Oh, and Carr's gone off and he's gone into the wall. And that just sums up Armar Carr's race right there. And he goes off into the wall. And that is him out of the Grand Prix on lap 7, just where Alex Southgate and Gal had crashed off. So here we're on board with Michael Mocho as we're now on lap 8 of this race. As there is a Red Bull by the side of him, and it looks like that is of James Willows, and very, very close, and Willows does make the move stick coming into the 130R. Very brave racing at nearly 200 miles an hour coming down there as Willows make the move stick up into 12th places. Here is Florian Volker, who is currently in 2nd places. Here is George Roque trying to make a move on it looks like Robert Ionescu in front of him. As there's Willows in 12th, Moichin in 14th place. As they come down the straight, and Moichin is going to make a move on Mocho coming into the first corner. And does he make it stick? The answer is yes, he does. And Moichin makes his way up into 12th place. 13th place, sorry, I should say. Not 12th place, as we're on lap 9. And here is Finley Strachan, who's running in the points. He's having a good race so far. He's behind the two runners. And oh, that's Waze Kuba. Waze Kuba is out of this race. How unlucky is that for the Belgian driver? He has crashed out on lap 9 of this race. We've already had a number of retirements so far. Kuba has had a mixed season, shall we say. I mean, he's done alright. I mean, he's got a win in the bag, but I mean, he has been outperformed by Nella. It'll be interesting to see which driver will come and replace him. So you can see he just goes way too quickly coming into the S-curves, or he just couldn't turn the car. He just went on the outside line and just had absolutely no grip. He went onto the really watery part of the circuit, and unfortunately that is put him out of the race. So you can see he comes through. You can see he tries to turn the wheels. He just wasn't going to work, and he lost his actually front wing in the process. So even if he didn't hit the wall, he would have to have gone in the pits anyway. But disaster for Waze Cooper as he is retired from the Grand Prix on lap 9 of this race. So, well, that's unfortunate there for Kuba. Good for Nella though, because that means that gives him a chance to extend the gap over him and Kuba in the points. As we continue on lap 9, as he were on board, as he were looking at a Virgin, and oh no, there's a car off, and oh, there's been a collision there between. It looks like, was that Sam Thompson or was that Adam Wolf? I think it might have been Sam Thompson there. Strachan, who had spun coming into the Degner curve, he just rejoins in front of the pack. But oh, what has happened there? More carnage here happening in this race at the moment. So Finley Strachan. So what happened? So he was just coming into he was right behind the Renault, I think it was, of Evan Byrne. And he just went wide and he lost control. He went onto the curbs and he lost it there. And unfortunately there was just nowhere for Sam Thompson to go. And he had nowhere to avoid it, unfortunately. So, I mean, he couldn't stop the car in time. He could have tried to go into the gravel, but that probably wouldn't have helped him. But how unfortunate that is for Finley Strachan. As James Willows tries to go past as Kenny Bryce. Is he trying to overtake him? Oh, and was there contact? It looked to be very close contact. And oh, there was a bit of a tap there from Roland Moichin behind. And Willows could be mugged here. He could get overtaken by Roland Moichin if he's not careful. As they're still trying to get past Finley Strachan in front of them, but they finally do so. Or has he? No, Jason. Oh, and Strachan is going right in front of Willows. Poor driving here, and Moichin's now trying to get past. It's nearly 3 wide coming into the spoon curves, but Willows does eventually make it through, and Moichin does as well. Not very good driving there from Finley Strachan, considering he lost his front wing. He needed to get out of the way quicker there. As now here we are, a battle between, looks like Robert Ionescu, Roque, and Holst, as now we come into the spoon curve, and oh, Ionescu's gone off. And I think Roque's gone off behind him as well. And yes, he has. And Roque, has he gone into the wall? And yes, he has gone into the wall. And Roke is out of this race. So Roke's horrendous season does indeed continue. He finished the first, I think it was 8 races, with only getting 2 points finishes, but he's had no luck so far. Probably been the most unluckiest, probably slash, you could say, worst driver of the season. But Roke is out on lap 11 of this race, so he was right behind Robert Ionescu, with Viggo Hoss behind. So did he make contact with Ionescu? Is the big question. So no, it doesn't look. He just got onto the curb, and he went off, and unfortunately he just went off into the wall and just he couldn't stop the car. So Roke out the race. His horrendous season continues. There are some doubts whether Roke will actually still have a seat next season, but I imagine he will. We don't know yet. And oh, Jay McKenzie's now off. Everyone's going off in this, and oh, he's lost his rear wing. So he's going to have to go in the pits, Jay McKenzie. So wow, there's a lot of carnage going on in this race. But although, I mean, did we really think this was going to be a surprise? No, I thought not. But so McKenzie was running well. He was running in 5th place, and he just got onto the grass and lost control of the car and went into the wall and lost his rear wing. He's lucky that he didn't lose a wheel or anything, but he got away with it. But he'll still have to go into the pit nonetheless, so that's unlucky there for Jay McKenzie. On lap 12, carnage going up throughout the field. So we've only been 12 laps. So now here comes Jordan Maturin, who's trying to get past, looks like Roman Quagg. For 16th place, side by side, coming 130 yard, and there was almost contact there between the two as Bryce made the move stick, and yes he has, but Quagg is trying to get him back, but it doesn't quite work out as we head into the first corner on lap 13. And oh, Ionescu's gone wide. Ionescu, has he lost it? Yes, he has. He spins coming into the first corner, and he'll drop another position. So it's a horrendous nightmare race for the two Toro Rosso drivers. I mean, with obviously Almar Cara retiring, but Ionescu obviously struggling as well, as he's just spun there, running in 12th place. It's just not really been his season. As I said, there was doubts as to whether he would keep his seat for the next season, but he indeed has. As Robert Ionescu spins there, and he rejoins in 14th place. So now here is James Williams, who's already got up to 6th place, so I don't know how he's managed to make up this many positions in that many laps, although I mean I understand a lot of drivers have made mistakes, but I'm really surprised he's actually got into the points already. That's quite amazing here from James Willows, as he is about to overtake Evan Byrne coming onto the pit straight. Is he? He's right behind his slipstream, and Willows is going to try and make a move into the first corner. Byrne's not going to make it easy for him. We know what kind of driver Byrne is. And has he made the move stick? And yes, he has. So James Willows is up into the top 5, considering only probably not so long ago, probably 10 laps ago, he was in the pits after a collision. As now Felix Sontag, who we haven't seen pretty much at all this race, haven't really talked about it or anything, but as I said, we haven't actually, I think, been on board with him at all, comes into the pits for the first time on lap 17. So it looks like maybe a 3-stop for him as he comes out on track. A 7.8 second stop from the Mercedes crew. And where will he come out? Will he stay in the points? Looks like he probably will at this moment in time. He comes out in 7th place. He's got a decent bit of clear over. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Nothing too bad. Oh, here's the battle for the lead between Joseph Willows and Will Neller. So Joseph Willows has caught up to Will Neller in after a few laps. And oh, Roman Quagg has now gone off, and he's done the same as Jay McKenzie coming into Spoon. He's lost his rear wing, and he is now going to have to go into the pits. And he, as you can see, does the same thing as McKenzie, goes onto the grass and into the wall. Simple as that, really. That's very, very unfortunate there for Roman Quagg, as he has to go into the pits. Here is Joseph Willows, who's battling Will Neller, and Joseph Willows is going to try and take the lead here. Neller coming into the 130 yard. Is he going to be alongside him? Coming into the 130 yard to push Neller wide, maybe? No, not quite. Neller just about holds it around the outside and keeps the lead for this moment in time. But Willows, as they come through the Dunlop chicane, will he get him on the pit straight? I imagine he will, because he's probably got the slipstream and all. As Will Neller actually goes into the pits, so that was maybe a good time from Neller. So will Joseph Willows try the overcut, or will Neller try maybe an undercut to stay in front? We don't know, as he comes into the pits on lap 19 for his first stop of the Grand Prix. Let's see how quick the stop will be from the Ferrari crew, and the answer is, it is a 7.1 second stop. That's pretty good from the Ferrari crew there, as he will come out. Where will he come out? Will he still come out in the top 3? But the question is, will he come out in clear space? And yes, he will. Look at the gap he's got. There's no cars is there. I think comes, is that James Willis? I think it probably is James Willis. And oh, Michael Macho has done exactly what Mackenzie and his teammate Quag have done. He goes off at the spoon curve and he loses his rear wing. Might as well call it the rear spoon curve at this rate. As Michael Macho, you can see, just goes onto the grass there and goes into the wall. We can see that coming a mile off as he rejoined the track. He was running well, Macho. He was running in 10th place. But unfortunately, that will be no more. And unfortunately, maybe a top 10 finish is probably going to go out the window now. As he will come out. As he will have to go into the pits, I should say. As we're on lap 20 of this race. So, not that far away necessarily from halfway. As now, Joseph Willis does come into the pits. And he's got traffic ahead. So that could be interesting to see if it does affect him. As that is Volker, I think, that's just going past. Who will resume the lead of this Grand Prix. As Joseph Willis comes into the pits. So will he have stayed ahead of Will Nella is the big question, because Nella had a lot of free space. So we will wait and see. So Joseph Willis comes out of the pits. Where is Will Nella? That is the big question. He's just coming out. You can see he's still in third, but where is he? And I believe that Nella has gone past because Willis has dropped to third. And Nella is out in front, and yes, he is. Well, he's up to second, I should say. And James Willows has got into third at this moment in time, so this could work out very well for him. And oh, excuse me, Alan Wolf has made, looks like an absolute dive bomb into the Dunlop chicane. And oh my goodness me, has he done it? Has he done the dive bomb? And yes, he has. What a move there from Alan Wolf. He does a fantastic late overtake on Alex Southgate there. Or was that actually Felix Sonntag? It might have been Felix Sonntag actually. It says you get a flag out. There's cars spinning off everywhere. I don't know what's going on. Help! As Ionescu has now gone off and he's crashed out the Grand Prix. And oh, there's a car that was just, I think I just saw stationary coming through the right-hander there. I'm pretty sure, unless I was wrong, I'm pretty sure I just saw a stationary car there, unless that was my imagination. But I'm struggling to keep up here. There's so much action happening. So, like, I'm struggling to even realise who went up. Oh, that is Joseph Willows. Joseph Willows retired from the race. And that's what happened. So, Joseph Willows, his nightmare season, I mean, it could really not get any worse for him. I think he's retired from the last 3 or 4 races. I think 3 races on the trot. And he's got, it looks like, a throttle problem and a water leak. And Joseph Willows has had to pull out just as they were about to come through the spoon curve. Or just before the spoon curve. And Joseph Willows is out the race. And on the same lap, so was Robert Ionescu. How unfortunate there for Joseph Willows. It's just not been his season. And the big question is, where will he go after this season? We don't know whether he will stay at McLaren or not for next year. There is a space at Ferrari. But we will wait and see as Willows, just as he's coming through the right-hander after the hairpin, pulls off to the side of the track. He actually hits the wall as well. So he loses his front right wheel. And he pulls off. The engine goes up in smoke as the car gets pushed away. It looked like a water leak, and it was a water leak that was the main cause of Joseph Willows' retirement. So that is going to be good for Will Nella. So he will retake the lead at this moment in time. So are we now going to have a look at what happened to to Robert Ionescu? So he does the same thing, it looks like, that Macho does, or the Macho, that Quag, that Mackenzie had done, except that Ionescu's gone in slightly sideways, which means he's lost his back right wheel, and he is also retired from this Grand Prix. Oh my goodness me, so James Willows currently up to 3rd place. This has actually worked out all very well for him in the end, despite the crash that he had. I have to apologise also, guys, if you hear a lot of sniffling or whatnot. I'm not very well at the moment. As now Sonntag is side by side with Wolf, coming through the 130R. Daring racing between the two, and Sonntag makes the move stick. And oh, Florian Volker's out. Florian Volker, the championship leader, is out of the race, so the championship will not be secured here in Japan. So it looks like it will go to the next race in Korea, and a suspension problem has put Volker out. Volker looked like he was certainly going to get maybe a podium. Not necessarily a win. I don't even know actually if Volker had pitted yet. I don't think he had, unless I'd missed it. But he'd just gone around the pits, and obviously he'd unfortunately suffered the problem. So what was the problem is the big question. It was a suspension problem. I should have said, but as you can see, he has to pull off to the side of the track. So that certainly clears a path for Will Nella, and I think also James Willis as well. That will clear a path for both of those two drivers to possibly have a battle to win this race. But Volker is out, so as I was saying, the championship will not be decided here in Japan, but it will go to Korea. But Volker is still the most likely driver to secure the championship unless he has a major capitulation in the last 3 races. As now here is Felix Sonntag trying to get past Evan Byrne, and oh, they've both gone off. Oh, and they've both gone off spectacularly coming into Degner, and they fortunately managed to both avoid the wall. Sonntag has got going quicker than Evan Byrne has, but that was quite a spectacular spin. Although Sonntag has just, for some reason, gone straight into the wall there, and Evan Byrne has just he's done the same thing. I don't really know what's going on between these two, but Sonntag does a nice reverse back onto the track. They're obviously trying to entertain the fans for some sort, but I really don't know what's going on there. But Evan Byrne still is yet to get going. Sonntag is just currently stationary on the track. He's still reversing, and he's finally getting going, and so is Evan Byrne actually, if he eventually decides to get himself out the gravel, which he is trying to do, but he's looks like he might be getting stuck. So this is quite an entertaining race, I have to say, so far in this Grand Prix. As Evan Byrne is finally rejoining the track, and that has cost him so much time that he probably will never get back. But oh my goodness me, well, I can't really believe what I've just seen there, ladies and gentlemen. But so Sonntag was trying to overtake Byrne for 3rd place, and they both went off spectacularly coming into Degner. Sonntag forced his way through on the inside, and there was kind of not really much room for 2 cars to go through there. As Sonntag goes off the circuit, as now into the pits comes, well, here's also into the pits is Renault Moisin. Adam Wolf is in behind, and it looks like this will probably be for Evan Byrne in front as well for Renault. Wolf comes out the pits, but Moisin will come out in front of him. So Moisin's actually in 3rd place at the moment. So Moisin is actually on for a podium right now. So somehow for Moisin, somehow for James Willers, speaking of him, he's in the pits. It's worked out very well for those two, despite getting involved in their own collisions or their own fracas. And wow, that is quite amazing how this race has turned out. It's unbelievable, really. As Evan Byrne comes out in front. Evan Byrne, whose race turned on its head after that crash. And oh no, Adam Wolf has gone off. I thought he might have a failure, but it looks like he has just made a simple mistake, and he stayed in this race. We're on lap 26, so we're pretty much at the halfway mark now of this Grand Prix. So I thought for a second then Wolf was going to retire, and it looked like he was going very slowly, but he just got understeer and he just went off into the gravel, but fortunately managed to keep the whole car out of the barriers, and he is still at the moment in this race. As James Willis is trying to get through lap traffic here. He's trying to get past Felix Sonntag in 9th place, and he's now trying to lap, I believe this is Finlay Strachan, in front of him, and he does indeed. Oh no, he doesn't, and whoa, he makes contact there with Viggo Holst, and that wasn't Finlay Strachan in the end. And oh my goodness me, so I think Willows hasn't got any damage. I think Holst has lost a bit of his front wing, unless I've seen otherwise, but Willows rejoins in 2nd place, so it's all looking very good for Will Naylor at the moment, but Viggo Holst is going to have to go into the pits there. This is just a crazy race. Oh, I don't believe this. What is happening? So, I mean, Willows just didn't seem to realise that Holst was there and just took him out spectacularly there. Sonntag just manages to sneak through there. So he gets himself up a position after all that. So it's looking all very good for Will Naylor at the moment at the front. So it looks like Willows did get away with some damage. As here on board Viggo Holst, as he's gone on the grass coming into Dunlop chicane, and there's contact made between him and that's Adam Wolf, and Adam Wolf is unfortunately out of this race. Oh, how unfortunate that is for the British driver, and he is out of the race. He's gone right through the barriers, and I imagine he probably want to dig himself into the barriers, as he'll be disappointed how he's been robbed, I should say, of a decent points finish thanks to a rookie mistake from Viggo Holst. He gets onto the grass, and it's unfortunately just right in front of Adam Wolf, and he almost makes it through there, Adam Wolf, but then Holst just goes back in front of Adam Wolf, and unfortunately just takes him out there. So not very good driving there from Viggo Holst. So you can see, I mean, if he just, well, I suppose he didn't actually move, but still, that was a silly mistake that Holst could have avoided there. But anyways, here is Jay McKenzie, who's coming out the pits from 6th place, and his stop is a 9-second stop, so a bit slow there from the Renault crew. As he comes out, and is he going to come out just in front of Willows there? Looks like he probably will. As now into the pits comes Sam Thompson for Williams. Thompson, who could get a decent points finish so far in this race, with all these other guys retiring and having problems and everything else that could go wrong, that could possibly have gone wrong. So he looks good at the moment. As now Will Neller comes into the pits for the final time. Let's see how quick this stop will be. So I don't actually know if James Willows will have to make another stop. I'm pretty sure he will do, unless I've forgotten he's made another stop. But Neller will obviously go to the end. So at the moment, James Willows is in the lead. So we will find out sooner or later whether Neller has won this race, or whether James Willows might have recovered to have won this race, which would have been pretty amazing. As now into the pits comes Rolo Moichin from 3rd place. It looks really good to get a podium here for Force India. This would really cheer them up after a pretty horrendous season. I know I've said that probably loads and loads of times. I probably need to stop doing that. But, I mean, this could really lift their spirits considering the season that they have had with both drivers. And Moichin gets a podium here. This will really do good for them in the constructors. And I was right. James Willows did have to make another stop before the end, as he comes in on lap 38 as the leader. But he will come out on lap 30. Well, he'll come in on lap 37 as the leader. He'll come out on lap 38 in 2nd place, as Will Neller has just gone past, I believe. As James Willows comes out the pits at 7.7 second stop. There go the 2 Renaults. There goes Sam Thompson. But Neller has got a comfortable lead at the moment, ahead of James Willows. But Willows is still going to get second place, which is going to be good in the championship, as this will narrow the gap down to Volker in the lead. There's Mackenzie, there's Byrne, there's Sam Thompson. In 8th place is Finnish Strachan. Is going to come into the pits. So Strachan's also performed very well and moved up to 4th place. Sontag has also got up to 5th place after I don't even know how to describe the Byrne Sontag incident, as just retardation, I think. I don't really know what to say about that, really. I mean, and oh no, Mackenzie's done it again. Jay Mackenzie's done it again, and he has gone off into the wall. I think he's lost his rear wing for sure, and Mackenzie might have just cost himself a points finish there, as Evan Byrne's up to 6th and Sam Thompson's up to 7th. So Mackenzie might have cost himself a points finish. Another silly mistake. Just the driving standards in this race are just like Clio's, like the UK Renault Clio Championship here. And wait, actually, oh no, he didn't lose his rear wing. Oh, what? How has he got away with that? I have no idea how he's got away with that, because he looks like he went in like backwards into the wall. As Michael Moichin has spun off as Rolo Moichin, he spun off as well, but he did a nice little 360 and got himself back going there, so he keeps his 3rd place at the moment. I honestly don't know who could get a podium. I think Michael Moichin could even get a podium this race, even though he's in 10th. Oh my word. I can't believe this race, as now Sontag is coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. The rain still not holding off here at Suzuka. I'm surprised we haven't had a boat on the track yet, as he comes out the pits. Sontag in 6th place. Byrne will come into the pits in 7th. Mackenzie, who's somehow still going with a full car after that spin at the spoon curve, he moves up into 7th place, as Evan Byrne looks set to get a couple points for the Renault team. We've still got 11 laps to go this race, so we still have absolutely no idea what will happen, as here is the leader. And oh wait, is this the battle? It is the battle lead. So James Willows has caught up to Will Neller here. How has this happened? It looked like Neller had a comfortable lead just like 8 laps ago. How is Willows actually caught up to Neller here? Has Neller got a problem? I don't know, but regardless, James Willows is going to try and overtake Neller for 1st place coming into Degner, and he can't make it stick. But James Willows has managed to really catch up to Will Neller, and I thought Will Neller was going to win this race, but it doesn't look like it at the moment, unless he can hold off for 9 more laps, but that's surely not going to happen, as Neller defends coming into the hairpin. Lap 44, as Neller comes out with Willows right on his back, as they now head through the fast right-handers. They head up to Spoon. I think Willows could have Neller coming into the Spoon curve, and it's going to be, is he going to try and block him? But Neller does block him off, and oh no, Neller's gone on the grass. Neller's gone onto the grass, and he's gone into the wall, and that has just gifted James Willows the victory for sure. I don't know how, as I said, Neller's got away with damage there, and this race, I I don't know what to say, really. I mean, it's had absolutely everything. But Will Miller, I mean, you'd have to say he's bottled it for sure. I don't know how also he's got away with damage from the wall there. But he's got away with it, and he nearly comes out right in front of the Virgin there of Jordan Maturin. Oh my goodness me. Wow. I really don't know what to say, but that has just gifted James Willis the victory. So here we are on the final lap, and Willis has got a 22-second gap over Will Neller, and James Willows, after losing his front wing early on, trying to go around the outside of his brother Joseph Willis, it looked like that cost him the victory, but we had no idea what was set to come in this race with all these various collisions, mechanical failures, poor driving, everything, well, and the rain of course, but everything that could have happened in this race has happened. It's definitely been, in my opinion, the best race of the season, as Willows comes through the second Degner, and he heads towards the hairpin under the bridge. Willows, who got past Nella after he made a mistake, and have still said that Nella has somehow got away with damage, and Nella is still at least going to get a podium place, but that's probably going to put him still out the championship fight. I don't think he can really get it unless he wins all 3 races, but we never know what's going to happen in this championship, as James Willows is about to come through the Spoon curve, turns 13 and 14 of this track, as he comes through the first part of Spoon. Now he comes through the second part of Spoon, as James Willis is coming down the straight past the little pits, or he's about to come past the little pits on his right hand side, used by basically no one, and well, I mean, it's quite pointless really, but anyway, James Willis is coming through the 130R for the final time, and he now comes through into the Dunlop chicane for the final time in this race. And James Willis, it didn't look like the victory was on the cards for him, but this race had absolutely everything in it, and James Willis has come through victorious as James Willis comes down the pit straight, and James Willis keeps his slim title hopes alive for Korea by winning the Japanese Grand Prix. Well done to him, and Finlay Strachan is going to come home in 4th place, so only 3 cars ended up on the lead lap in the end, showing you how crazy this race was. Kenny Bryce comes home in 9th. He just misses out on a point for Virgin. How unfortunate is that? But he comes through in 9th. Finlay Strachan is in 4th, so well done to him. His best finish of the season. Michael Mocho is set to come home in 10th place, and just behind him is going to be Will Neller. He'll be disappointed that he didn't win this race. He probably thought he had that in the bag, as now Big Ol' Holst is going to come through in 11th place. Not been the race for him at all as he comes across the line. As Felix Sonntag is going to come home and take a 5th place finish. He probably would have wanted more considering what happened, but the collision with Evan Byrne affected him there. And I mean, that collision was definitely probably one of the weirdest moments of the season. Maturin comes home in 12th place. Sam Thompson is going to get a pretty good 6th place points finish. Evan Byrne is set to come home in 7th place. And that will mean a double points finish for Renault, as Mackenzie will come home in 8th place, as Mackenzie just comes through the Dunlop chicane for the final time. And Jay McKenzie will take 8th place. He'll take the final point spot, and I believe that is everyone across the line, unless I have missed anyone else. And yes, I have indeed. It is the one and only Roland Moichin who's going to take a 3rd place finish for Force India. Congratulations to him. And what has been a dreadful season, it has just topped up a notch for Force India, as Roland Moichin takes a fantastic 3rd position. As now through the final chicane comes Roman Quagg. He'll come home in a very, very lonely 13th place, as he's about to come across the line, and he comes home in 13th. And now I believe that is everyone that's crossed the line. But there is your winner of the Grand Prix, James Willows, keeping his slim title hopes alive for the next season. The number 10 driver, or the number 10 driver, as we will now have a look at the full race results from what has been an unbelievable Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka, as we have a look at all the various onboard shots, as the rain's still pelting it down, of course, here at the track, as we look at Willis. Now here is the full race results. So James Willis was first, with Wilner second, Renault Motor taking a great third, with only 3 drivers on the lead lap, with Strachan, Sonntag, Thompson, Byrne and McKenzie all a lap down, with Bryce, Mocho, Holst, Maturin and Quagg 2 laps down, with the following drivers all retiring from this race: Adam Wolf, Florian Volker, Joseph Willis, Robert Ionescu, George Roke, Waze Kuba, Alex Southgate, Mikolas Gao and Amar Carr. So we will now have a look at the fastest laps of the race. That was set by Will Neller, and 2nd place was James Willis, and Finlay Strachan 3rd. Very impressed with him. Alex Southgate 4th, Kuba 5th, Volker 6th, Gal 7th, Willows 8th, Joseph Willows that is, Renault 9th, Sontag 10th, Thompson 11th, Wolf 12th, Byrne 13th, Hulks 14th, Roke 15th, 16th is Jay McKenzie, 17th is Amar Carr, 18th is Robert Ionescu, 19th Bryce, 20th Maturin, 21st Mocho, and 22nd Roman Quag. So here are the point standings, also the newly looking point standings. So you can see James Willows is currently 21 points behind Florian Volker, so Volker just needs to at least finish ahead of James Willows in the next race to secure the championship. And Nella, as I said, he's now officially out the title races. He cannot win it, as even with 3 wins, he would get on 102 points. And Miklos Gal just behind him with 71, so that could be a battle there for 3rd place in the championship. Cooper 5th with 60, Joseph Willows 6th with 44, Sontag 7th with 38, Byrne 8th with 26, Sontag 9th with 25, McKenzie 10th with 24, Moichin has 17 now with that podium place finish, Wolf 11 with Strachan 11 also, 12th and 13th, Thompson 14th with 11 as well, Holst with 9, 15th, Roke 16th with 6, Mocho 17th with 4, Amar Carr 18th with 4, Robert Ionescu with 3 and 19th, Maturin with 1 point and 20th with Quag and Bryce, the only 2 drivers so far in this series that have yet to score points. And it was unlucky for Bryce. He nearly got the points in this race, but it just wasn't to be. But anyway, Red Bull leading the constructors' standings with a comfortable 45-point lead over Ferrari in 2nd place, who are in turn 17 points ahead of McLaren, who are comfortably well ahead of Mercedes in 4th place. Renault, who are 13 behind. Force India 6th, with Williams 7th and Sauber 8th. Could be an interesting battle for 6th in the constructors there. Toro Rosso in 9th with 7 points. Lotus 10th with 4, and Virgin, of course, in 11th with 1 point. Well, that has been one of the most amazing races I think I've ever seen to commentate in the GP4 AC. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, I apologise for any of the coughing and sniffling. I'm not very well at the moment. But anyway, please vote for your driver of the day and give the race a big old rating out of 10. So thank you very much for watching, guys. And we will see you for the next round of the season, which will be the Korean Grand Prix. The first time that the OC has gone to Korea. So we will see you for the Korean Grand Prix at the Korea International Circuit. Thank you for watching, and we will see you there. Goodbye.